Well, what is going on here? We have a 10-year-old government that is neck deep in corruption, and it's another week, another Auditor General's report denouncing the actions of this government. A government that really wants to profess to be new. You know, they're a new government, not new people. It's the same people, but they've changed. They've found religion. You know, they're going to do things differently from now on. This same group of people.
And yes, of sacrifice. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Mr. Speaker, as this motion will demonstrate, they have an opportunity to demonstrate the genuineness of their conversion. We have made it easy for them today. We put forward a motion that they can vote for, which will show that they are, in fact, different from the way they were before. This is their opportunity. How helpful we are as the Conservative opposition. We are giving them an opportunity to demonstrate the sincerity of their apparent conversion by voting in favor of this motion.
Questions and comments. The Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've heard a number of people on the other side today talk about the same old government. That's not, in fact, the case. This government was judged in the court of public opinion. We got more seats. I would say it's the same old opposition, Mr. Speaker.
100%.
They lost their leader as a choice of the Canadian public. What are you doing different to earn the confidence of the general public of this country?
Through the chair.
Well, I am here, and I will let the member for Brantford Brant South Six Nations explain what he is doing.
Yeah. Unlike the member from the same old Liberal government, he may be a new face, but he's inherited a corrupt, rotten, at its core government with the same values and same beliefs. What I'm doing differently is, unlike this member, I stand up for my constituents, and I ensure they get value for their tax dollars.
Who voted for that? You're not even fooling the Liberal voters.
Mr. Speaker, a little bit of background for those who are just joining us. Today we are debating a motion from the Conservative Party, the Conservative opposition, that calls on the government to demand the return of money that was improperly taken by GC Strategies.
I'm standing just outside of the House of Commons where moments ago the Liberals gave taxpayers the middle finger yet again. This time, the Liberals opposed our Conservative opposition motion calling on the Liberals to get taxpayers their money back from GC Strategies and to permanently blacklist these fraudsters from government contracts. This, after all, is the two-person basement firm that robbed taxpayers of $20 million in a Rive scam to do no work for an app that didn't work. And it gets worse, because last week the Auditor General revealed that the Liberals handed GC Strategies more than $64 million taxpayer dollars in contracts across 30 different departments. And of the contracts the Auditor General examined, she found no proof of work nearly half of the time. The bottom line is that GC Strategies was on the take for tens of millions of taxpayer dollars, and the Liberals let it happen. And today what we saw is a government that is absolutely shameless, that has no respect for the taxpayer. The good news is that the Liberals are a minority government, and they didn't have the votes. Our Conservative motion passed. So going forward, Conservatives are going to demand that the Liberals finally respect the will of Parliament and respect what is now an order of the House of Commons, and immediately commence proceedings against GC Strategies to make taxpayers whole and to ban GC Strategies from all government contracts forever. We're going to stand up for taxpayers, and we're not going to let the Liberals off the hook.
Hypothetical, but ridiculous hypotheticals are required to demonstrate what has actually gone on in government procurement. So you hire me for $100 to paint the fence. I hire someone else for $50 to paint the fence. I collect $50 for doing, you guessed it, nothing. Nothing. And if this happens over and over again to the tune of tens of millions of dollars, you get kind of a sense of the procurement system that has been operating under this government. you have, we're talking about GC strategies today, but it's important for you and for people at home to understand that there are hundreds of companies that do staff augmentation work in the IT space alone. So you have these two guys working out of the basement that they've got a great business model, right? They get contracts, they hire someone else to do the work, and they collect a massive fee in the middle. But it's not only Christian Firth and Darren Anthony that are doing this work at GC Strategies, this work. There are hundreds of companies doing staff augmentation for the federal government in IT alone. This is a profoundly broken system. And what it comes from is, so first the government makes procurement so complicated, so unwieldy, that almost nobody can understand it. And then you have people who position themselves as experts in nothing except getting contracts. In other words, they're people who understand how to they have the relationships, they have the access, they know how to host the right whiskey tastings for the right people, right? That's a real thing that happened. They know how to host the right whiskey tastings, and so they know how to get government contracts. And then once they get the government contracts, then they go on LinkedIn and find, okay, who are people that actually know how to do this work, and then they hire them. Mr. Speaker, it's like something out of Yes Minister that was rejected for being too unrealistic, right? But this is what actually happens and has happened for the last 10 years under this Liberal government. But now they've changed. They'll never do it again, Mr. Speaker. They have a new government with the same people who have nonetheless seen the errors of their ways, Mr. Speaker. And when all else fails in this debate, members across the way say, well, didn't we win an election? We won an election after all, Mr. Speaker. Nobody's disputing the results of the election, but I do think it's notable that in order to win the last election, these Liberals had to pretend to be something very different from what they had been for the last 10 years. Their only argument in the election was to say, well, Canadians want change and we've changed too. We'll be nothing like ourselves, right? They promised to be nothing like themselves. And that turned out to be a reasonably successful political strategy. But I think very soon Canadians will discover that they're actually nothing like themselves. They're actually more like themselves than they pretended to be. And that we will see the continuation of these same absurdist procurement policies, things that if presented as the possible script for a television show, they would be rejected for being unrealistic. The fact that you have people getting hired to hire other people, a procurement system that is so broken and so complicated that only well-connected insider brokers can understand it. Those well-connected insider brokers receive the contracts, hire the people, and collect a massive premium for doing so. And this week, the Auditor General came out with a report having looked in detail into what happened with this one particularly notorious company, GC Strategies, found that there was massive abuse. And just to share one highlight from committee exchanges we've had with GC Strategies, right? They admitted to presenting fraudulent resumes to the government of Canada in order to get work. So, it's the old resume padding that we all tell our children not to do. This is how GC Strategies was getting contracts. And they explained, though, what their normal process was. Their normal process was you get a resume that may not be compliant with the requirements of the bid. So then they adjust the resume to make it compliant. So let's say the contract requires that you have 5 years experience at something. And then the person they're proposing to do the work actually only has 5 months. So they change the months to years to make it compliant, and then they go back to the original resource, the person who would do the work, and they say, is this okay with you, right? We changed the numbers here, is that okay with you? But in one case, they forgot to consult the resource before they changed those numbers, and so that's where they got caught out because the resource called them out for it. But Christian Firth, when he before committee, he admitted that it was a standard part of their process, that they adjust people's resumes to make them line up with the expectations of the contract and then check in to see if it was okay. Again, if this was a pitch for a Yes Minister show, they would reject it for being unrealistic. But this is par for the course in the broken procurement system with the Liberals. And so in order to cover for this, they cycle through these different procurement ministers. It's the same people kind of cycled around. Oh, it's a new minister. It's a new minister. Every 6 months almost on procurement, it's been a new minister who is not responsible for anything that was previously done. Meanwhile, the previous minister goes on to remain in some influential role in this government. It's farce, it's tragedy, and Canadian taxpayers are getting abused as a result of it. But they profess to be a new government. They've changed, Mr. Speaker. So as I said, today is their opportunity. We have put forward a motion that says GC Strategies should be banned from ever getting government contracts, and they should pay the money back. Not that difficult. If you abuse contracting rules, if you falsify resumes, if you don't actually do work, then you should pay back the money that you took from taxpayers. If our friends across the way have truly changed, they should vote for this motion. It would be a great demonstration, not just if they vote for it, mind you, if they actually followed through on it, because sometimes we've had instances where they vote for motions and then don't follow through on it. This is their opportunity to vote for the motion and then to act on the motion. And so we've been asking them today, are they prepared to vote in favor of this motion? And they're trying to fill this debate with kind of the great fog of nonsense and distraction. And I welcome the member for Winnipeg North. I'm looking forward to receiving that gust of fog. But my question for them is, will they support our motion to pay the money back? If they are the new Liberal Party, then I think they would vote for this motion to order the money back. If they are voting against this motion, then it will demonstrate, of course, that they are the same old Liberals, unchanged as they have always been.
That Canadians made a decision on April 28th and that he accepts the decision that he made. What's interesting to me is that we do have a new government. There is a new government of transformation, government transformation. There is new processes in place. There is a desire to want to do better, to really ensure that we have one Canadian economy and that we're fighting for Canadians.
What we're going to do, irrespective of the outcome. And yes, of sacrifice. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
I was surprised to hear such a sharp question from my colleague, because I thought I was very generous in my speech, actually, in terms of giving the government this opportunity to vote in favor of our motion. This opposition motion really is a gift to the government, because we are inviting them to come along with us and to vote in favor of getting this money back from GC Strategies. I think this is the kind of offer of collaboration I think that people are looking for. I would challenge the government. You know, they're supposed to be new. They're supposed to, but here's the point. I suspect they'll actually vote against this motion in the end. But I would challenge them to do the right thing. The member wants to know how we can work together. Vote in favor of this motion. That's how we can work together. That's what we need.
Well, radicalization in general quite often will show by people isolating themselves and changing their behavior, like changing what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist. And if someone you know was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But we also have to remember that having the most extremist views is perfectly legal in Canada, and that it's only acting with violence to prove that view that becomes a criminal offense.
Gang, what do you think about our guy Garnett here, MP from the West? Again, these guys are cowboys. They don't mess around. Larry Brock, always one of our favorites. Who are those other clowns? We'll have to look and see. Thank you for watching the video. Till next one. Later, gang.